Greetings, beautiful beings. This is Ahuvia, your bartender here at the Breathing Bar. And we welcome you today. And someone was asking me, Ahuvia, why the Breathing Bar? And there's many reasons. But one of the main reasons is I wanted to create a space where we could explore life from a conscious awareness and not from a space of conscious dissonance. And there's a difference. Conscious awareness makes you aware in the purity of the awareness without connecting any emotional attachment in its onset. Whereas a dissonance brings a discord, the potential imbalances, the clashing of thoughts or realities. And that's not what I wanted the Breathing Bar to be. I wanted to be a place where we can just come in awareness because it is what it is. So how do you bring that into the awareness of life without holding your breath, without losing that life force energy that is us? So everything is the breath. Everything is life. Everything is oxygen. Everything is flow. So that's the intent of the Breathing Bar, just to explore from a space of conscious awareness and not conscious dissonance. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because, like I said, I had been asked that question. So today I want to explore as we go into week 4 of our fall equinox, bring it to the table. And this topic is really sacred to me for many, many reasons. But I think the biggest reason is that anything that continues to deconstruct my arrogance or my arrogance is always something that I honor in a sacred way. So this week we are talking about plants. Plants are living organisms, not just animals. Demystifying the arrogance of many plant-based consumers. And I have my name Ahuvia up there really big. I've been a plant-based consumer. I don't like to define outside of just that. I'm a plant-based consumer because there's many things that I don't consume. So I don't try to define it anymore except keep it pretty simple. But there was a level of arrogance that I had relative to plants and animals. And the arrogance is more so, I love animals, I don't want to eat them. And I had a stark reality around that. And anyone who approached me, they knew not to question it. Well, most people that knew me knew that. So they knew not to question it, especially once I said it. But what I didn't have was that same stance for plants. And as a plant-based consumer, we consume plants as much as, let's say, carnivores consume animals. But what makes one living organism more important or more important than the other? Why did I feel that it was more important for me not to eat animals, but it was okay for me to eat plants? And many will say because, we don't have the canine teeth to consume animals and that, we have molars, so we're able to break down the plants and we're made from the minerals and the vitamins and blah, 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 blah. And not saying that part of that's true. But at the end of the day, as I continue to evolve me on this journey, energetic being journey to understand energy and frequency, living organisms have a frequency at the end of the day, outside of the definition that humanity has put to every living form they find. So if we look at ourselves as energy, if we look at animals as energy and plants as energy, living organisms are living organisms and are equal across the board. Because of our quote-unquote consciousness as humans, we have defined ourselves as being the greater form. And then we have put a hierarchy around where everything else fits. Yet we need plants to live. They don't need us. The flora and fauna can survive very well without humanity. So it's important for myself that I started redefining how I view my plant-based consumption. Because I found that when it came to house plants, which I never really liked having, because I did feel plants belong outside so they can grow naturally. But I always end up being like the caretaker of these plants when the people around me didn't take care of them. So I have a room full of plants that I didn't buy just so that they would be alive. But I nurtured them because I saw them as living organisms, and I saw that they weren't being taken care of, and I saw that they were being neglected or abused. Yet I never felt that way when I went into the store or went to the farmer's market to buy food. It was like, this is for me to consume. I didn't care that the entire plant had been uprooted for my consumption. I didn't think about this living organism laying there, just waiting to see, just laying there, uprooted, no longer able to thrive, slowly degenerating, slowly dying, slowly leaving this realm energetically. And some may feel that I'm being a little over dramatic. But at the same time, these are living organisms. And they deserve the consideration and the mental energy to be recognized and respected as such. So no, it wasn't too much for me to go there. I said, Ahuvia, how much do you really need to eat or consume? And when you see these living organisms there for you to consume, do you honor them? Do you give them a recognition that they have been uprooted from my consumption and I honor them? Am I aware of how much I'm consuming? Now, when I'm growing, it's a little bit easier because I'm able to, when I do plant, I don't uproot most of the vegetables that I grow. I take some of the outer leaves, but I always leave some. And then when it's time, if they decide to leave this realm, then they leave the realm. There are roots that I can't, but I always make sure that I'm very conscious of how much I uproot and how much I leave of that particular plant. Now, this is a continued evolutionary process. I'm by no means perfect at how I'm manifesting any of this, but it's something that I have started putting into practice. And then I've been moving for the past 10 years anyway to a more fasting as a reality, because I see how fasting can allow you to honor living organisms on so many levels and yourself on so many levels energetically. So I'm seeing how little food really matters in the scope of being an energy being, but being able to consciously allow your system to flow without a lot of energetic blockages. So that's what I wanted to talk about. It's important that plant-based consumers consider their plant-based consumption. And this goes into when I talked about holistic practitioners, holistic beings, plant-based beings being the most consuming of so many of the natural resources. We go to little islands for these herbs, and we want them organic, we want them fair trade, we want them wild crafted. But do we really consider not just how it's affecting the region we're taking it from, but can we replenish it? Many people don't grow, so no, many people don't even know how to replenish it. Many people don't know how it grows. And I've gotten to the point where if I can't replenish it, then I do my best not to consume it. Because I know I'm conscious to the point where there's a relativity that's going to come around if I continue to do certain things. Everybody's flowing differently, so I'm not putting mine on, but that's just how I feel. So no matter what we consume, plants, animals, remember they're living organisms. No matter when we kill an insect, they're living organisms. They desire to thrive. They desire to have a wonderful experience in this earth realm just like we desire to. And even if it's challenging, and even if you're unable to do it, just wanting to be more considerate to the living organisms, the plants. Be aware if you're going to be bringing plants into your house, you have to water them. You have to take care of them. And they're going to grow. So if you're not willing to be able to propagate them so they can continue to manifest, you're just going to cut it and throw the excess away. Why? I have so many pieces. My mother's to the point where she's like, Ahuvia, we can't have all these pieces of plants. So I've taken them to the school where I'm teaching, and I said I'm going to use them as a science lab, and then I'm going to give all the plants away at the end of the year, because there's hundreds of people in the school. Just pieces that have been propagated. It was too much. We cut it, the stem fell off. I've put everything in water. I have roots. I have middle of plants, just stems of plants with roots coming out with nothing else. There's so many different ways I'm working to allow this piece of living energy to thrive, however it's going to thrive. And it's fascinating and it's sacred and it's beautiful to watch how the sweet potato grew. Now it's not even in the soil, but somehow those eyes came out of it in 3 different places. I know you've seen it with potatoes and onions. No matter what, in the dark, no water, no nutrient, it desires to live. So I took it to school, put it just in some water for the roots to get strong. And now the leaves are coming out, and I'm about to cut the eyes and put them in soil. And I have a little second grader that was just like, Miss Ahuvia, you got the sweet potato, I said, yeah, I do. I said, when I put the eyes in soil, I'm going to give you one. And every time he sees me, he's so excited. He said, I remember that sweet potato. The secret life of plants. We have to be more considerate of other living organisms. And it's the arrogance that we have when we feel that we can just consume and not replenish. And that we can just consume a living organism and not honor what it's doing for us. And I'm not saying that everyone doesn't. But I know on a large scale, we don't really think about it. When we go to the restaurants, when we just do the things that we do. And that's why I have my name big as day up there, Ahuvia, the arrogance of plant-based consumers. Because I see me in all of this. So that's all I want to talk about today, beautiful beings. And we do have our interactive journal on the website, according to Ahuvia. You can catch the podcast, the Breathing Bar podcast. You can catch it on YouTube now. I'm in YouTube podcast, so if you go meet the Breathing Bar there, it will come, or your favorite platform. So we will talk soon, and you will have a beautiful moment wherever you are. Give thanks.